Hi there, everyone. It is hardcore weather time for Monday, September 22nd, 2008, first day of fall. Although it's going to feel more like summer out there as temperatures will stay a little bit above normal across the state, mostly in the mid-80s, a few upper 80s out west. Not a whole lot to talk about today. We have had a solid, dry week of weather last week and through the weekend, and it looks like we'll probably get at least another solid dry week before we start to see some rain chances, maybe even longer than that. So let's get right down to it. Take a look at the maps. Okay, this is the 500 millibar pattern from 7 o'clock this morning. And what jumps out to me is this nice trough coming into the western United States. It's actually two pieces. One portion of energy is lifting through the northern plains, another piece of energy coming into the Rockies, and this is all going to be tracking off to the northeast. So the main jet stream energy is going to be staying across the northern United States. In our part of the world, weak ridge in place over the southern plains is going to keep our weather fairly dry. If anything, this ridge is going to be strengthening over the next few days, and that will help keep temperatures slightly above normal. That means highs much of this week pretty much in the mid-80s, lows in the lower 60s. Not record-setting above normal, but a little bit above normal, with the main storm track staying well to the north. There is a slight risk of severe weather across the northern and parts of the central plains today. This is the outlook from the Storm Prediction Center. And again, you have the energy that will be coming across the Rockies and then spreading northeast into the northern plains. So this is the area that could see a few thunderstorms producing some large hail and damaging winds. You've already got what's left over from the storms that formed yesterday moving into Iowa. No risk for severe weather around here the next several days. In fact, just no chance of rain. It all looks like it'll stay pretty far to the north. This is the GFS from 6Z this morning, and we'll let this go into motion. Again, what you're going to be focusing on here is especially the northern United States. That's where most of the action is going to be. Across Oklahoma today, here's lunchtime. Notice how the pressure gradient is going to be increasing. As I zoom in here, you can see the black lines representing lines of equal pressure. The closer you get these lines together, the greater the wind speeds are going to be. And that's not necessarily windy for Oklahoma, but it's approaching windy, especially in western sections of the state. I think winds will be 10 to 20 here in the central part, and probably 15 to 25 out west as low pressure continues to develop through the lee of the Rockies. Here's Tuesday morning, and there are thunderstorms left over from what's going to form this afternoon and then continue into tonight across the northern plains. Again, that's where all the energy is going to be. Now we're out through Wednesday. There's Wednesday morning. Lunchtime Wednesday, there's a cold front that's going to try to make its way into Kansas. Earlier, these computer models showed this trying to make its way into Oklahoma, but I think the ridge is probably going to be too strong, and I just don't see it happening. And so I'm going to keep the forecast dry. Now we're on out to Thursday, and we'll just kind of go through this rather quickly. And you just don't see a whole lot happening across Oklahoma. There is Sunday morning, dry as a bone out there. Now we're into next week. There's Tuesday, Wednesday. Now we're out to Friday. Now Friday does show the GFS just start to show some stuff going on, but again, this is the 3rd of October, so it's really hard to buy into it. But notice, if you want to speculate a little bit, there's some mighty cold air that has been gathering across Canada, and that will eventually try to make its way down into to the United States. There is Sunday, October 5th, and if that's the case, there would be a snowstorm in parts of the Great Lakes on into the northeast, and intrusions of colder air starting to make their way perhaps into the central plains. But again, this is pretty far out there, and so you really can't trust anything that GFS has to say this far out. But it does make sense by the time we get to the 8th day of October that we will have seen at least some cooler air working its way into Oklahoma. This is the 500 millibar flow for the same model, same time frame, GFS from 6Z. And again, we're watching this energy that's moving through the Central Rockies, and as we go through time, you see that moves across the northern plains, and therefore the risk for severe weather. This is already out to tomorrow evening. Watching the southern plains, how the ridge kind of expands as the main jet stream stays to the north, and that's one of the reasons why we're going to stay dry. There we're out to Thursday morning, main jet stream, main energy, focusing across the Canadian-U.S. border. And we'll go through time here. We're out to Saturday morning. We've got this trough in the east. I forgot to bring it up, but there is this little tropical thing that could become Tropical Storm Kyle or maybe Hurricane Kyle, but the GFS keeps it off the East Coast. It will be something that we have to certainly watch for those folks, but it won't affect Oklahoma. Now we're out to Sunday. By Sunday, there is a little bit of a trough developing out in the western United States. It's a weak trough, and the ridge begins to weaken a little bit. This is not this coming Sunday, but yes, it is this coming Sunday. It is this coming Sunday, so 6 days from now. Now we're out to next Monday, so 1 week from today. Again, nice ridge being pumped up in western Canada. That starts to tap in to some colder air that will come into central and eastern Canada and perhaps eventually on into the eastern United States. But nothing looks imminent for Oklahoma as we go through time. Now we're out to the second day of October. That is Friday the 3rd, and you get this nice little trough developing. But again, this is the GFS way out in no man's land, looking far into the future, farther than it's really capable of being accurate. But if this is accurate, by that point, by the time we reach into the 7th or 8th day of October, we will probably have had some decent cold air spilling into the northern United States, and chances are better than 50-50 that we would have our first shot or two of some chilly air as well. But again, that's pretty far out in the future. So there you have it. That is hardcore weather for today. Again, as I said before, it looks like several days in the future are going to be dry and warm. And we start to, cool off as we head on into October, which is not going out on a limb. That's typically what happens, but you can see how that cool down can take place. Make sure you tune in to Eyewitness News 5 tonight at 5, 6, and 10 for all the very latest. I'll have some new computer information to look at just in case something from left field starts to show up. But outside of that, it looks like it'll be pretty quiet. Have a great Monday, everyone. Take care.